Darth Vader knows that a Jedi remains, and he knows that Obi-Wan was training this Jedi. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is the second half of the original Star Wars arc, issue 3 through 6. It picks up with Darth Vader realizing that there is a Jedi out there. This story also wraps into our story about Darth Vader, so make sure you check out that video. Darth Vader walks into Jabba's palace for negotiations, and he informs Jabba,
"There will be no negotiations. Give the Emperor what he wants. This concludes the negotiations."
He then parts ways and he sends off his own agent, a bounty hunter by the name of Boba Fett, to find this Jedi and track down any information on the pilot who blew up the Death Star and blew up the facility from last time. While this is going on, Han and Chewie are patching up the Millennium Falcon, and Princess Leia is planning the rebellion's next move, and Luke believes himself to be a failure. He barely survived his first confrontation with Darth Vader, and he needs answers to questions about Jedis, his father, and Ben Kenobi. And there's only one place that he knows of where he can get those answers: back on Tatooine. As he lands, he can feel the blazing sun on his skin. I left here saying there was nothing for me. Let's hope I was wrong, R2. Meanwhile, Boba Fett is making his way across the same desert looking for the name of a boy who lived on this planet. He had ties to Kenobi, and Kenobi was on this desert planet. Why was he here? His journey takes him to the cantina on Mos Eisley, where he asks everyone there, who was the boy? And behind him, a big talker tells him, "Only boy I see here is you, Fett." Boba Fett turned around to see an 8-foot-tall, 6-armed alien, and I swear he smiled under his helmet. It didn't take him much to pin the alien to the ground and tear off one of his arms and break 2 others. He looks up at the silent patrons of the bar. What is the boy's name? None of them reply, so he breaks another arm. The bartender finally speaks up. Kenobi came here not too long ago with a kid nobody's seen before. Looked like a farmer's brat, but we don't know who he was. None of us do. At that moment, a young boy ran for the exit, and Boba Fett hit him with a grappling line, tying him up. "I don't know anything!" "You knew enough to run, so let's start there." The young boy screamed in pain as Boba Fett began his questioning. Meanwhile, back with the Rebel fleet, Princess Leia works out a deal with Han Solo. If he helps her by co-piloting on a special mission, she'll give him the parts that he needs and then leave him to his own devices. Han walks away from her, telling her that they need to get this over with fast. While Boba Fett finally gets the name of our young boy, Skywalker. Luke Skywalker. He was the young farmer. So Boba Fett shoots the kid and walks out of the bar, as he makes his way to a farm near Tosh Station. On the other side of the planet, Luke continues to make his way to Kenobi's old farm when he finds sand people trying to raid the house. Brandishing his lightsaber, he gets ready to protect the house. While up in space, Han and Leia fly through space in their stolen Imperial shuttle. 2 TIE fighters approach them and demand to know who they are. Princess Leia tells Han to relax and begins transmitting special codes that will allow her to pass. But that's when Han begins to sweat. He doesn't believe that her codes will work. "This won't work. They're gonna shoot us and kill us both. That's it, I'm taking over. You'll thank me later, Princess." He says, taking control of their ship and flying off course, just as the TIE fighters report back that they were clear. The TIE fighters begin opening fire on them, and Han asks which system they're in. Once he hears their location, he has an idea. He knows about a nearby planet here, and he flies off into an electrical storm to evade the TIE fighters, and it works and the TIE fighters ditch them due to the storm. But an unknown stalker sees where they're going and decides to follow Han and Leia. Back with Luke, he has managed to clear out the sand people, and he turns back to Kenobi's hut to see a big mess. He walks in and R2 begins searching when a flashbang goes off on the ground, exploding and blinding Luke. "R2, what happened? I can't see!" he shouts as R2 is shorting out behind him. As Luke scrambles on the ground, Boba Fett cracks him over the head with a rifle. "That was the butt of the rifle that's now pointed at your head. Now stay down, Skywalker." So Luke punches Boba Fett in the stomach, only to discover that he has armor. "Armor? What are stormtroopers doing out in the desert?" "I don't know. You'd have to ask some stormtroopers. Don't move, Skywalker." Luke doesn't listen though, and he begins to drag himself around, so Boba Fett kicks him across the head. "You could have walked, but you wanted to make this difficult. Now I'll just have to carry you." But Luke turns on his lightsaber. "I'm not going anywhere with you. You can't fight me blind. You couldn't even fight me if you could see. A Jedi doesn't need his eyes. Maybe, but you're no Jedi." So Luke takes a swing at Boba Fett, completely missing and hitting the wall. He then comes back across a second time, which slices the grappling line that Boba Fett shot at him. He then nicks Boba Fett's helmet, pushing Boba Fett backwards, where he stumbles over a downed R2. "Your armor's noisy. So's your mouth, kid." And then Boba Fett turns on his rocket pack, charging at Luke as Luke winds up a big strike. Meanwhile, Han Solo and Princess Leia land on his hidden smuggler's den, where he leads her to the back of the cave, where he's conveniently got a bottle of wine all prepared for just such an occasion. Back with Boba Fett though, he manages to get a shot in at Luke, cutting up his cloak, and then Luke takes a swing at him, nearly taking off his head. But now that Luke's been given cuts all over, Boba Fett turns to him. "You might want to stop, you're running out of options and blood." "No, Ben would never. Kenobi's dead, kid. He can't help you." "He already has," Luke says defiantly, so Boba Fett shoots him in the arm. "A Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him." "Feel this," Boba Fett says, taking a shot at him. Luke deflects the shot blind with his lightsaber. The shot then goes back at Boba Fett, so to avoid it, he rocket boosts into Luke, pushing them both to the ground and knocking Luke's lightsaber out of his hands. They both struggle to try and get it, and as Boba Fett lay on top of him, they both start pushing the lightsaber into each other's face. So, R2 grabs a box and throws it at Boba Fett's head, knocking him out. Still blind, Luke asks what just happened. So R2 replies with beeps and boops and shows Luke what he found. A simple case marked in a foreign language. Luke grabs it and it allows R2 to lead him out of Kenobi's farm. Meanwhile, back with Han and Leia, Leia throws the wine in Han's face. How dare he even think about that? But that's when another ship lands. A woman steps out and looks at them both. He'll just lie to get out of whatever you're asking him. "I'm Sana Solo, his wife." "His wife?" Princess Leia says, shocked, and Han facepalms. Oh no. Back with Luke, he loads up into his X-Wing with R2, and he's able to see once again. He opens Kenobi's box and he discovers a journal inside, and the cover reads, "The Journals of Ben Kenobi." "This is what we came for, isn't it?" Luke asks. While Boba Fett reports back to Darth Vader, reporting that the kid got lucky and got away. But he did get his name, Skywalker. Darth Vader stares off into space in silence, and the glass shatters of his ship. And that ends our tale. The Star Wars comic books are incredible, and I am loving them. Don't forget to check out the Darth Vader books, the Princess Leia books, the rest of this story, Vader Down story. We're going to be getting to them all eventually, but if you want to get ahead of us, go ahead and start reading. I'm Benny for Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.